Jim, that was a real cup tie that. How do you assess what you saw tonight?
Listen, I think if ever there was a game of two halves, I think you've just seen it there. First half we were really good in everything, defended well, played some really good football, looked really dangerous every time we went forward. And then second half it was just the polar opposite. We looked really nervy. We couldn't cope with the way that Motherwell set up. In fairness to Motherwell, you know, they had nothing to lose in the second half, and we spoke about that at half time. You know, we expected them to be more offensive and throw more bodies forward, which they did, and great credit must go to them for the way that they went about it in the second half. But you know, of course, there's a lot of things that we will look back on and analyse and know that we should have done better. But I think I've got to give credit to my players as well for when it goes for each, for being able to get us to extra time, because I think it would have been very easy at that moment to go under and lose the game, because this place was rocking. They had all the momentum. We couldn't get any kind of foot on the ball. We just couldn't settle the game down at all. So look, so many good things, so many bad things. The most important thing right now is that we're in the quarter-final of the Cup. But yeah, I mean, I suppose the biggest emotion just now is probably relief more than joy.
Like you mentioned, polar opposites. I mean, would you say, would it be fair to say first half probably the best we've been all season, second half probably the worst we've been all season?
Yeah, I suppose you could say that. Yeah, definitely first half. I mean, you know, I feel as if that has been coming. I feel as if we've had performances throughout the course of the season where we've done really well in periods, and we've been a little bit unlucky, if you want to say, in front of goal, maybe just not got the break of the ball. I thought tonight, in the first half, you know, we looked really dangerous every time we went forward. And, you know, if we were sitting at half-time 5 or 6-1 up, I don't think anybody could argue with that. But listen, 4-1 is a big enough cushion for any team, you know, to go out and see that out in 45 minutes. We should have done that. You know, we end up going to extra time, we end up using a lot of energy that we don't need to, but you know, credit to the players, they managed to get us to the penalty shootout. We know we've got a keeper in there that can make saves, and thankfully, you know, we're there, and I'm delighted for the supporters, because they, like me, I think when it goes 4-3, 4-4, you're starting to fear the worst, and you know, they did go quiet, but then I have to give them great credit at extra time, because you know, we could hear them prior to the extra time kicking off, getting right behind the players, making themselves heard and driving the boys on, and they made a big difference tonight, and I'm just delighted for them more than anything, because it's been a very expensive period the last few weeks for all supporters, and you know, for them to turn out in the kind of numbers they did is greatly appreciated, and the scenes at the end were brilliant. So yeah, big thank you to them.
Yeah, as you mentioned there about the first half, you feel that's maybe been coming over the last wee while. Does that give you a lot of encouragement going into a couple of big games, starting sort of Friday night against Hearts, that you know, that level of performance, you can carry that on?
Look, I know we've got some good players, you know, and I really do have got a great sense of belief in the squad. And I thought all over the pitch we were way ahead of Motherwell tonight. You know, and I think that's great credit to the lads. You know, Motherwell are sitting fourth in the league table. The early two fixtures that we played in the league, we were nowhere near them. I think the last two games that we've played, I think people can see we're getting closer to them in terms of overall performance. And yeah, I just thought, you know, that the front two, John and Alex, were a real handful. They couldn't cope with them at all. Delighted for Beeks to get his couple of goals, good goals as well, by the way. And yeah, I mean, it was an overall fantastic performance in the first half. It's really hard to stand here and be too excited about it at the moment, because I'm just you know, flabbergasted by what happened in the second half. We didn't handle the pressure that Motherwell put us under, which is concerning. We didn't manage the game well enough. We got a little bit too nervy, and as I said, we didn't put our foot on the ball well enough. You know, we sat too deep and invited that pressure. So you know, we're a relatively young team. You know, when you look at the back four, you know, Callum, Akin, Connor, you know, all relatively new to the Premiership, and I think that second half there is a big learning curve, not just for them, for everybody, and we've got to manage those situations better in the run-in.
Obviously the main thing though is that we're through to the quarter-final, a home tie as well against either Kilmarnock or Aberdeen. How much will you be looking forward to that when that comes around?
Well, look, I'm delighted we're in the next round. That's the bottom line. You know, if you would have offered me before the game a penalty shootout win and us getting through, I'd have snapped the hand off you. The fact that we were sitting 4-1 up at half time, I thought it was going to be a lot more comfortable. So yeah, the most important thing is that we're there. You know, I can now go and watch that game tomorrow night and be relaxed about it. You know, whichever team we play, we've already beaten them in the league this season. So again, you know, we believe whichever one we get, we're capable of beating, and we have to have that mindset.
Jim, thanks very much for your time.
Thanks very much.